You rolled on your side, pulling your blanket up as far as you could. The moment you had awoken and realized you were still in the digital circus was always the most disappointing part of the day. But pulling up the soft piece of cloth only led to your body overheating. The digital circus had only two kinds of blankets available. One was too thin, the other one, while pleasantly heavy, was too thick and way too hot. Your bed also was way too soft, even though it looked pleasantly hard. So you made the digitalness of your digital bed responsible for that. You sighed as you swiped your fingers over your mouth, wincing at the touch. But it was nice to feel your skin. In the digital world, your body had taken on the appearance of a store mannequin. Your body, while still feeling like skin, appeared like white, shiny ceramic. You had no hair. Instead, you had taped a wig on your scalp that you had found during an unrelated adventure. The wig was a fiery orange and just managed to reach your shoulders. Your face was flat and smooth, and you're forced to remake your mouth every week using a knife you hid inside your dresser. Using it, you carved open the ceramic skin that would grow around your lips to fully smoothen it out. It was a painful process, thankfully not bloody, thanks to the censorship of the digital circus. Underneath the hole that you cut, you had lips, teeth, even a tongue. And the little skin it did expose was quite rosy, almost bloody, like the two first layers of skin were removed, leaving only the tender, fragile baby skin. If anything, you felt as if your body had just been covered by the white, shiny outer shell. Despite your obvious lack of eyes and nose, you could still see and breathe, almost like the two organs were still there, just invisible. It was an alien feeling to look at your reflection in the mirror. Your body was uncanny, only made normal by the fact that the surroundings were uncanny as well. Your hands and feet were quite dainty, and after tripping the other day, you learned that your body could shatter like any other ceramic ornament. Luckily, the digital circus reset your body weekly. And if it wasn't for your mouth being part of that, you'd call that a blessing as well. Right now you are dressed in a pink, puffy bathrobe. Your dresser seemed to automatically be filled with these. And reluctantly, you yawned and walked outside for some social input, so you wouldn't go insane with the dead silence of your room. And that was your biggest mistake. What you didn't know was that today's adventure had already started, as you had missed not only your alarm clock, but also morning roll call. The moment your feet touched the red carpet in the living quarters hallway, you jumped back as a loud, bestial roar echoed through the circus. Distant screams of the others caught your attention, and you began to run towards it. Concerned, you looked down at the stage area from the balcony. There were your fellow characters, running from something big. "Good morning, Sleeping Beauty," shouted Jax. "I hope our struggle for survival wasn't inconvenient for your little nap." You puffed up your cheeks, genuinely considering to turn around and just leave. "You know what? I'm not dealing with this," you growled at Jax. But that was already enough. The monster immediately stopped in its tracks. Its heavy, overgrown head, covered in yellowish boils, shot into your direction. "Pretty!" it growled as its thick, sickly eyes locked onto you. "Jax, you dick!" you shouted as you immediately ran for your life. The monster abandoning its pursuit of the others to hyper-focus solely on you. As you were booking it, Ragatha angrily approached Jax. "What was that for?" "What? I'm just buying us some time and distance from something that I could have spent my entire life never ever looking at in the first place." Today's adventure was called Pip. Just Pip. That was the thing chasing you. Pip. It had the appearance of an obese ogre. Green, sickly-looking skin covered its entire body. Yellow, glowing boils grew all over it. Its teeth sparse yet razor-sharp. But worst of all was its speed. It crawled like a giant baby on all fours, growling, screeching, and gurgling. And a single jump was enough for it to reach the balcony of the living quarters. As the name of the adventure suggested, it was all about him. But interestingly enough, the moment Kinger saw the word Pip appear in the sky behind Kane, the chess piece had abandoned ship, running away, screaming. In hindsight, that was good, as he got a little head start. But that just annoyed Jax, really. Meanwhile, you had managed to leave the circus tent. Using a rug you used as a sled, you rushed down the digital gravel path, Pip in close pursuit. Worst of all, it was gaining on you. If you had eyes, you would certainly be crying right now. "Hey there!" you heard Kane's jolly voice as he floated above you. "Kane!" you shouted through gritted teeth. "What in God's name is that?" "I greatly appreciate your efforts to not curse the digital circus, Didi." Didi was the nickname he had given you, and that's what everyone called you here. Of course, like everyone else, you couldn't remember your real name, but that was okay. Didi at least sounded like it could be a name, unlike Zubal. "Some help would be nice," you shouted up at the ringmaster. "Oh, I'm so sorry, but all the help I can give to you is this." Kane snapped his fingers, immediately immobilizing the rug, catapulting you not only off of it, but face first into a tree. Pip rushed past Kane and your rug. Leaping forward, it grabbed you in his thick, smelly sausage fingers, crushing the tree as he rolled down the hill with you. You screamed and tossed yourself around against Pip's grip, but to no avail. He held you up, staring directly at you. "Kane, you motherfuck!" you screamed, and then Pip chowed down on you. Well, luckily he didn't really bite anything off. He just threw his head back, which made you fall into the gaping abyss that was his throat. You fell, your head bumping into soft, muscly, wet flesh. There was nothing you could hold on to, as you landed right in Pip's bubbling stomach. It took you a moment. You were dizzy. The putrid smell of bad milk was making you nauseous. You only slowly managed to get on your feet. The sound of bubbling liquid was all around you. The platform you were on seemed to be part of Pip's stomach, It was wet and extremely soft. Spongy even. Occasionally it pulsated disgustingly beneath your feet. Though in here it was more spacious than the monster's appearance indicated. Well, that made sense. The digital circus worked on video game logic after all. You looked around. It was actually quite bright, like you were stuck inside of a gross balloon hanging out in the sky. The liquid around the meat island you were on was yellow. Bones and meat chunks floating around in it. You couldn't believe it. Your mind was working only slowly, too stunted, too shocked by what had just transpired. But there was no doubt, no going back or anything. You had to admit it, come to the reality that, yes, you had in fact just been vored. Shivering, you slowly walked around the little fleshy platform you were on. At least right now, the stomach acid wasn't rising. From somewhere in the acid you heard a static noise. And there it was. Just over there, a TV was slowly drifting towards you. Once it came closer, you leaned forward to pull it towards you. Anything to help you. With a loud grunt, you managed to drag it onto the meat island. It was on, showing static, even though it wasn't plugged in. Shaking your head, you decided to not question it. Feverishly, you began turning the TV's channel knob. Maybe you could pull a Sabara and climb through it for safety, and then... On channel 13, you shrieked. The TV had turned to an image of the other characters. They were looking back at you. "Hey look, it's Dee Dee," said Jax with an almost evil grin.
Where are you?"
You stepped aside. "She's in his stomach, Kinger."
"Oh no!"
Somewhere behind the others appeared Kinger.
"Dee Dee, listen. Very carefully. Whatever you do not participate in a game show." I heard you say that before. What does that even mean?"
"It means to participate in Pip's stomach-turning adventure."
"Oh no, I'm too late."
From the hole from which you had fallen floated Kane, a huge, colorful wheel of fortune behind him. You looked back at the others.
"Kinger, what is this?" "It's the stomach-turning adventure."
The king chess-piece grabbed his head with both hands as he screamed.
"It's where she abstracted."
Kinger jumped up, running away from wherever the others were watching you. "Last time we had more contestants in here, but this will suffice anyways. It's fun regardless," laughed Kane.
"How does this work?"
You barked desperately, hands turning to fists. "Oh, it's simple, my dear." With his cane, Kane pointed at each color of the Wheel of Fortune. "We will spin the Wheel of Disgust. Yellow will make Pip become hungrier and produce more stomach acid." There were 3 yellow spaces. "Green will lower the acid." There were only 2 green spaces. "Pink ones will force you to play a round of Ungodly Truth, the game where I ask you a question and you must answer with utmost honesty."
There were a lot of pink spaces.
"That black space right here will be your ticket out of here. And these 4 blue ones, my dear, will make you do a little dare for me. And lastly," he pointed at a red panel with a skull on it, "this will make you die for freedom." You took a scared step back.
Wait, what?
Dive for freedom! The game will be over, but you will not be spit out. So you have to venture beneath the sea of acid and reach Pip's end in the conventional way.
No!
Well, I can't force you to do anything, my dear, but I don't think it is very comfortable to spend the rest of eternity here. And so your friends are here too, so this should make it much more easy, right? Kane pointed at the TV. In my defense, it just appeared on stage, in the play area. It did indeed!
You sat down on the wet, fleshy ground, hyping yourself up by gingerly slapping the back of your neck. Fine. Let's do it. Kane spun the wheel countless times. At least he seemed to use the same force every time. The dares went from forcing you to eat super spicy food to setting your bathrobe on fire and having to douse the flames in the acid, which only made you feel grosser and grosser as your clothes were soaked in the yellow liquid, and you couldn't help but realize that they were also slowly dissolving. The truth were a mix of dumb questions like, what's your favorite color, to just random trivia stuff like, in what year did the animatronic bear of a popular pizzeria franchise accidentally kill an underage customer by biting down on them? But what was terrifying was, every time the wheel stopped at yellow, it seemed to never get to green, and your space was getting desperately little. Right now you are sitting on the only dry spot left, the TV. It stood shakily on the last bit of exposed meat. Are you ready to spin again? Asked Kane excitedly. You were breathing heavily through your mouth. By now, the smell of rotten milk had made you vomit at least 4 times, and you could feel the corrosive liquid sizzling at your porcelain skin. I guess. Kane spun the wheel with an energetic hum. How long do I have to play? You asked. Until you reach red or black. The last time we played it, it was for precisely, 27 days. Oh, God, you thought. The others weren't helping either. Sure, they were cheering you on, and occasionally they answered the trivia questions for you. You had spent what felt like hours in the bubbling abyss of Pip's tummy. And honestly, by now you probably would die for your freedom after all if you got to that point. The wheel stopped on pink. It's time for another round of ungodly truth. My question. Kane made an exaggerated twirl in the air. Do you have a crush on anyone? And if you do, who? Honestly, you're more surprised it took Kane this long to ask this. The problem was that the answer was just as embarrassing as the knowledge that the digital world forced you to speak the truth during this game. You had tried lying earlier, yet your mouth formed the wrong words, making you say a truth you didn't want to admit. The embarrassing truth was that, in fact, you didn't wear underwear under your bathrobes. And so, as reluctantly as always, you looked up at Kane, and sighing, you said, I like Jax a little much. The other characters cooed from beneath you. Shut it! You slammed the TV with your fist. Oh, but I too would like to know more details. Like an underage teen, he floated in front of your face. Why do you like him? He's the only one who seems confident enough to not abstract. I admire that. Because feel like I'm about to lose it. And I feel like that's a good quality to have. You know, not going insane and all. God damn it. You would have never admitted to that yourself. To anyone, really. His jokes and pranks are physically painful, as they are still painful, however. They're a reminder that we're all humans somewhere still. Are you done? This was supposed to be one question.
Yes, I am, my dear Dee Dee. Let's spin the wheel one more time!
As Kane hit the wheel of fortune, you noticed he spun it with much more vigor this time. He must have really liked your answer. And then, your mouth dropped.
Oh, it's black!
Instantly, Kane teleported away, as the entire stomach of Pip began to quake loudly as he heard the monster grunt and groan.
Time birthday!
In disbelief, you fell from the TV into the stomach acid, as it quickly rose up, engulfing and swallowing all the bits and pieces in Pip's stomach. The entire time you had imagined, hoped, that Kane would just simply teleport you out of here, but as seconds passed, you quickly realized that you were leaving through the hole. At least you didn't leave through the black side. The pressure you felt as you were pressed through the now narrow flesh tube of Pip's throat was agonizing and painful. And eventually, with a huge wave of sizzling liquid, you were shot out of Pip's mouth. You screamed as you flew head first through the air, crashing right into the stage. Kane, nice person he was, had opened a portal in Pip's mouth that led to the stage area. Twitching, feeling gross all over, you lied there. The other characters around you. I am truly impressed.
You did wonderful,
said Kinger. Me and Pomni would help you up, but... You heard Ragatha and the Jester gag. That smells a little much.
Yes, someone needs a bath, shouted Kane.
The ringmaster grabbed you by the arm, pulling you on your feet.
Let me assist you, Dee Dee. Oh, this was a fantastic adventure. I hope you can't wait for the next one,
he said as you were pushed forward through a door, leading to a quite decadent-looking bathroom. You were in the fetal position on your bed, your lips quivering as you gently rocked back and forth. Not in the mood for anything anymore, really. At least Kane let you wash alone. Ugh. You still felt icky all over. And the fact that the bathrobe literally dissolved as you were taking it off, it only made things worse. You stared past your legs at the ground when you suddenly heard the noise of turning keys from your room's door. Then the handle was pushed down, and through it came Jax.
Hey, Dee Dee,
he chuckled, his grin as wide as ever. Wait, what are you doing here? He closed the door behind himself. Since you didn't instantly kick him out, he took it as an invitation.
Ragatha made me. I would have just went to bed otherwise.
Right. He was lying, but you didn't know that. Why did she send you? Crap, he didn't think of that. Jax blinked, to give himself a second or two to think. And then he said,
Because of what you said on TV, she thinks I may be the best person to cheer you up, and,
You seem to really need a cheer up.
In reality, was just curious how far your crush went.
You sighed. You leaned back against your wall and remained there. I don't need cheering up, you complained. I just want to get out of here.
Your room?
No, the circus.
Jax shook his head. Not possible.
You sighed. I know, Jax.
You shuffled a bit to your left and tapped the spot next to you on the bed.
Come on. I know why you're really here, you muttered.
Jax sat down next to you.
Oh, and why am I here?
You placed your head on his shoulder and he didn't pull away.
A good sign, surely. You just want to confirm to yourself that I have a crush on you.
He blinked. Well, you weren't wrong.
That am I conventionally the most human-looking character, automatically making me more attractive than others.
Jack snickered. Well, you gotta admit, Gangle is just a mask. Zobel is Zobel. And Pomni, well, I admit, I'm scared she's gonna bite me. You smirked. Boldly, he cupped your chin with his hand. Besides, you showed interest in me first. And I just can't resist an invitation like that.
You hummed at his touch. But as he came closer to kiss you, you jolted back as his lips touched yours.
What? What's wrong?
You rubbed over your lips with your hand. It hurt. A lot. Sorry, my skin is really sensitive. Especially after those acid baths. Oh God, I hope I didn't ruin the mood.
Oh, Dee Dee, he chuckled, placing an arm around your shoulders. You didn't ruin anything. Gently he kissed your cheek. See, I can kiss you in other places. You purred at his touch. Jax's lips moved from your cheek up to your ear, where he gently bit your earlobe. He made your heart flutter and your legs twitch. His right hand now went on the offensive. Gently it crawled up from your thigh to the belt of your new bathrobe, going just a little higher before slipping under the cloth. You could feel how it mischievously groped your chest. You moaned.
Can I ask you something?
Whispered Jax.
Anything at this point? How anatomically correct is your body?
You smirked.
Very. Do you want to give it a shot?
Jax didn't answer immediately. Instead, he used his left hand to unbutton the suspenders of his pants. Not so fast, Dee Dee. He hushed, gently pressing his lips to your exposed neck and shoulders after pulling away your bathrobe a little. It's been too long. I want to savor it a little, if you don't mind, that is. You looked into his eyes, though he looked somewhere at your forehead. The fact that there were no visible ones that you had made this oddly amusing. But instead of laughing, you grabbed the back of his head, adjusting his position a little.
I know you can't see them.
I don't even know where my eyes are.
Alright, now it feels like you're looking into them.
It was awkward, sure.
About half of his romantic sticks were longingly looking into a partner's eyes, or, eye-related in general. But he'd wing it. Confidently, Jax kissed you where your nose should be, before finally undoing the knot of your bathrobe, opening you up to him like a lewd Christmas present. He smiled widely, his tongue dragging across your exposed shoulders as he laid you down on your bed. Are you ready, Dee? He hushed. Thank you to the people who are supporting me on Ko-fi. You guys are keeping me alive.